What up, Laker Nation? Welcome to the post-game recap show with DTLF. It's always nice when you beat the Clippers, man. No matter if it's summer league, preseason, regular season, and they've never been good enough to make it to us in the playoffs. So I'm not even going to bring that up. But great game, man. I mean, a couple of standouts here I want to talk about in a bit. Some not so much. Um, you know, the Clippers went on a rampage in the end, and they started hitting some crazy shots, like unheard of. I'm talking, dude was throwing it off the freaking shot clock type shots, and I was getting upset. I'm like, man, it had to be the damn Clippers. And then Clipper Darrell was there looking ridiculous with his half and half, two-face head ass. But the Lakers get the win 86-84, which still keeps us alive for that championship game, I believe, assuming we win tomorrow night. So, but it feels good, man. Proud of this team. Now, a couple of players stood out really, really good for me. Vic Law caught my eye since the last game we played. He had a couple clutch buckets. Even though we lost versus the Knicks, he kept us in there. And Vic Law was clutch again today. 15 points. I think he had 11 of those in the fourth. He looked disgusting. I liked him a lot, man. I was like, okay, this guy can get his shot. He's clutch. He's not afraid of the big moment. Okay, Vic Law. And I like his size for his position as well. So always good to beat the Clippers, man. And the one that caught my eye the most, I've been talking about him from the beginning. Now, you guys know Trevelin Queen has looked phenomenal off the bench. Every time he comes in, he brings that energy, that hustle, that hard work. He was getting put back dunks. My man was crashing the glass. He was locking up on defense. He missed the layup. That's the only blunder and a crazy turnover he had. But outside of that, his energy, man, he's like the Energizer Bunny. He just keeps going and going and going. And the crazy thing, he reminds me so much of Trevor Ariza, the way he plays those passing lanes, and the way he gets out of transition and moves without the basketball. I actually think he deserves a training camp invite just as much as anybody. So I'd be surprised if the Lakers don't bring him at least to training camp because he's looked phenomenal. He had 12 points off the bench again tonight, and it's been a blast to watch. Who caught your guys' eye, though? I'm going to head over to the comment section. Again, always great to beat the Flippers, man. I don't care if it's summer league, preseason, regular season. Doesn't matter. It's always fun. Is it K-Cock almost cost us a game again? He's too sloppy. I think that's why the coaching staff, put Yoeli in the game because he's much better. He can space the floor. He can actually put the ball on the floor as well and finish with either hand, right or left. He said, Dan is loving this. I mean, it's the Flippers. We all loving it. Absolutely, Justice. And you know what? It's so ridiculous how Clipper Darrell was there with the same old suit he's been wearing for like 12, 13 years. I wonder if he has different copies of it or is it the same garbage? Either way, he looks like a clown. You could hear him across the TV. I had to mute my TV a little bit. He's like, let's go Clippers. Like, shut up, dude. It's preseason. Let the young players play. Stop with the BS, man. But whatever. We get the win. He looks ridiculous. He goes home. He probably goes to the Las Vegas Strip and just performs after that. He's probably one of the mimes out there looking like a clown. But bottom line is, Lakers get this win. Vic Law, super impressive. Again, hit some big shot after big shot. He kept putting us on top every time the Clippers were getting lucky with these shots. And then again, of course, like I said, my boy Queen really showed out. Now, ever since that game winner, Reeves hasn't been the same. He went 3 for 11 tonight. He only had 9 points, but he does make some nice reads and some nice cuts. He should finish some of those. Devontae Cacok finishes with 12 points, but again, 5 for 10, not efficient enough for his size. He had 4 turnovers. He had the most in the team. For a big man, that's a no-no. And then Robinson, he had some clutch buckets as well, our guard. So, all in all, man, I'm happy with the performance. He said, damn, what's going on with Ayayi? Is he any good? Somebody mentioned to me during the game on Twitter that he needs time to adjust to the speed. But if he doesn't adjust here in Summer League, I'm not sure how he will adjust over there. Honestly, Ayayi reminds me of D'Angelo Russell without the jump shot, which I'm not sure is a good thing, but a better defender, of course. I'm just talking about his movement. It's kind of a half step slow. I feel like he's not very athletic. Like, surprisingly, he looks like one of the least athletic players on this team. And if he can't space the floor and knock down the jump shot, it's going to be really hard to find him a roster spot. But he is on a 2-way contract. He has time. I'm not going to overreact. We didn't draft him anyways. So he either pans out or he doesn't, just like, the Antetokounmpo brother we had, or Devontae Cacok, who's no longer on a 2-way contract. So it's hit or miss. It doesn't really matter. It's a low risk, medium reward with him. He said, Law's looking poised and confident. Get the man an invite to training camp. Yes, absolutely, bro. I like what I saw out of Law today and the last game, too. He had some clutch buckets, Terry. And thanks so much for the donation, bro. By the way, not just Law. Okay, these are the players I think should be in training camp. Obviously, Mac has struggled, but I like what he brings. He's very poised. He hits big shots, even though he struggled recently. And I like his handles. He just needs to read the floor a little bit better. Who else? Shandy Brown Jr. has probably been the most underwhelming to me. He's capable of hitting big shots. He had a really clutch shot to beat the buzzer at the end of a quarter, I think. He's super athletic, but he has tunnel vision. I don't like the way he plays. I really don't. But I mean, they already sent him a training camp invite. All right, cool. Queen, Trevelin Queen needs one, man. He's super athletic. He's very smart. The way he reads, the court defensively, his defensive basketball IQ off ball, like as an off ball defender and playing the passing lanes on the weak side and all that, reminds me so much of Trevor. Again, I've been saying it. And his athleticism, ability to move without the basketball, I'm inviting him for sure. And now Vic Law has caught my eye. So I wouldn't be shocked if those four all make it to training camp, and then they would need one more. Because remember, you could take up to 20 to training camp, and then you would have to make your cuts down to 15 plus the two-way players. So it'll be interesting to see who makes it. I definitely like his size. Vic Law reminds me of like Lil Deng in his prime when he was with the Bulls, But again, these are just like lazy comparisons. Obviously, he's not going to be that good probably in the league, but I mean, in summer league, he's like the summer league version of that. Very good defender, very lanky, and he's good. He can hit the mid range. He can knock down the three, and just a really well-rounded player on both ends of the floor for now. He said McClung needs to hit his threes. I agree. McClung and Reeves have been off. I mean, Reeves went 3 for 11 again today, so that's back-to-back bad games that both of our exciting players had. But what the difference is that Reeves does other things to impact the game. He plays excellent defense. He rebounds, gets out of transition, finds the open man. He doesn't force it most of the time, and so He said Vic Law is a 3-and-D wing like Wilson Chandler. That's a nice comparison too. But Wilson Chandler is way more explosive. But that's a nice comparison. He said, I agree. Dan Trevelin Queen is really good. He just doesn't get good opportunities on the offensive end. But he is a solid defender. I like him a lot. He's probably, outside of Reeves, he's probably my second favorite player. I like what he brings. I mentioned him in pregame. I said, let's see how he performs in this game because I want him to make an impact. Maybe he gets a training camp invite. I think he's done more than enough. What do you guys think? Do you guys like Queen? Besides Reeves, who else has caught your guys' eye? Do you guys want Devontae Caycock back? Personally, Devontae Caycock has been disastrous. He has a couple of good plays, some hustle plays here and there. But, Ayayi has underperformed for what I thought he would be. But again, it's no risk because we didn't draft him. So, how long have I been a Lakers fan now? I lost count, man. I've been a Laker fan probably since 97 when Kobe got drafted. Yes, sir, 96, 97. Right around that time when Kobe got drafted, man, that's when I remember officially paying attention to the Lakers as a kid because my family was a Laker fan even before me. But yeah, it's been over 20 years, man. It's been over 20 years. What, 22, 23 years? The Reeves, Mac, Queen, Law, and maybe Brown are my guys. Yeah, that's a solid 5 right there. But I'm not sure if you can take just 3 extra guys plus the 2-way contracts, or is it 5 extra guys and then you have to make the cuts, right? Not sure. But it doesn't matter because there's a lot of opportunity, and you can tell these guys are hungry. Think about this. Other teams have lottery picks, and we've beat a couple of them, right? But these guys are hungry because they know, for example, Reeves asked not to get drafted by a second-round team because he wanted to come to the Lakers. I'm sure Rob Pelinka was like, hey, we might have some open roster spots. That's why I think Rob is keeping 3 open just in case anybody catches his eye, maybe 1 or 2 players. You never know. They say we're old. This is a way to get young quickly through the draft and through free agency and stuff like that. So from these players, I'll be honest with you, okay? Players that are NBA ready right now to play right now on this Laker team to spell minutes, let's just say we go 15 or 20 and we rest our first unit and our second unit in the fourth quarter. We're up 15 or 20, whatever. Guys that can actually come in and maybe hold a little bit of that lead, I like Queen a lot. Queen, to me, his hustle translates on any level. Just by itself. He's like the Energizer Bunny. He just keeps going. That motor is going to translate. Whether he hits his jumpers at the next level or not. The defense is going to be there. The hustle, the cutting, all of that. right? It translates. So he's probably the more ready. I like what Vic Law brings to the table too. I'm not sure if it'll translate that jumper and that confidence. You never know at the next level, but I'd like it. Um, and then after that, I think Austin Reeves will probably be the third one on my list that may get some minutes as a two-way contract here and there, but very limited because remember, coach really likes his veterans, and even the great THT was dominating in the G League, and he got very few minutes his rookie season. So um, this is the time for them to grow this in preseason, and maybe if one of them really impresses, he might crack like the outside of the rotation. But I don't expect any of these guys that we're currently watching to make an impact on the roster this year. This is strictly scouting for the future because remember, we traded a lot of our draft picks. So this is a quick way to get some value back. And you never know, we might have another Caruso-like story with some value to either trade, keep, or whatever. Yeah, I would rather have Vic Law or Trevlin get the two-way contract spot for Ayayi. I agree with that. I think those guys, like I said, are more NBA ready. Ayayi looks really raw, right? He looks extremely raw, kind of giving me Kostas Antetokounmpo vibes, right? Too raw that he won't be able to, you know. He said, Dan, are you surprised that Udonis Haslem re-signed with the Heat for another season? It will be his 19th season in the NBA and the Heat next season. He's a fan favorite there. I mean, he always plays hard, but mostly they got him kind of in a Jared Dudley role where he's not going to play a lot. He'll be ready if his number's called, but he's there to mentor younger players. He's there to guide some of the players along through the process, it's not everybody on your 15-man roster is going to be able to play. The rotations end up being most of the time like 10, 11, 12 max. It never gets all the way down to 15. That's what I'm saying. I'm not going to overreact to anybody that gets signed. Like a lot of people are saying, no Isaiah Thomas, as if he's going to be our starting or backup guard. No, barring any injuries, he's not going to get too much PT anyways. So I'm very open-minded to who we get this roster spot to. Who do you guys want? Give me some names. He said Vic Law is 24, so he's more NBA ready. He played in Australia as a journeyman. Yeah, I like what I see. I didn't know who this kid Vic Law was, but the last couple games he's really started to get comfortable with in the offense. And I like the fact that he knows when to get his. He knows when the team needs a bucket, and he went out there and he got us a bucket. Right when we lost the lead and we lost a little bit of momentum, we got sloppy with some turnovers. Vic Law hit a couple of big threes. Vic Law hit that nice little mid-range shot to end, to beat the shot clock. He just did his thing, man. So I'm very, happy for him because now he might, he might get a couple of looks from around the league. If not the Lakers, somebody else. He said, I've always been a Laker fan since having my picture taken with Jerry West, Elgin Baylor, Gail Goodrich, Keith Erickson, Pat Riley, and more. A Laker practice in the 70s. Man, blessed you have been to witness great basketball, man. That's awesome, man. I'm happy. This is really the epitome of Laker fans. Once you're a real, true Laker fan, not a player fan. There's a lot of new modern-day player fans in the NBA. I have no problem with them, but I don't consider them team fans. We're team fans. Name on the front of the jersey before the back. And guys like these are proof that we are the most, obviously, loyal fan base of all time. I mean, think about it. When we were getting 17 wins a season before Kobe retired, we were still packing out Staples Center. I was still doing my YouTube videos covering the Lakers with hope because I knew we'd be back on top. It's called loyalty, man. He said, man, let's get IT out here. You know what, Johnny? That would be dope, bro. Honestly, I think he deserves a spot. If it ain't with the Lakers, I hope somebody gives it to him. But he looks poised. He looks hungry. He looks ready to come out here and earn his minutes, on an NBA rotation. Now, obviously, he can't be a lead guard in today's NBA. Most guards, you see them, they're huge. They're like LaMelo, 6'7", 6'8", Lonzo Ball, 6'6". Most lead guards are, is trending into the, most of those guys are at small forward positions, but now it's positionless basketball. So you got point guards like freaking Giannis could run point guard. AD could lead the fast break. So it's really hard for guys like Isaiah Thomas to carve out his niche as a, a starter or even as a first option as a backup. He can get cooked. That's the only problem with it, But like I said, I don't mind him as a spot, third stringer, or maybe one night somebody got into foul trouble and he can provide a spark off the bench, come in and drop a couple of buckets. Spotty minutes here and there. I wouldn't give him more than 10 minutes, at all, because then the defense starts scheming towards exploiting his mismatch, the height matchup, right? The disadvantages. So that's just the way it is, man. Jordan Smith said DTLF is AD even big. I see AD like a KD type player. Look, Anthony Davis is a big. He is a specimen, though. People forget that, he started playing the point guard position at high school, and then he hit that growth spurt. By the time he hit college, he was a big man. So he's a hybrid. He's a freak, a specimen. These type of players don't grow on trees. All right? We saw him. When he was healthy during that championship run, he was the best big man in the league because he's versatile. He can guard 1 through 5. He can take you off the dribble. He can finish above or below the rim. Very crafty. Has all kinds of moves. He did some crazy up and under guard-like type moves. It's a blast to watch Anthony Davis play. He can put the ball on the floor. Again, defends every position. He can space the floor. It's all about his health. So, yeah, AD can play almost any position on the court. It's just that his best, most effective position is the 5 and the 4. Mainly the 5 because he's closer to the rim and he's super crafty. And once he gets it going, he's the type of player that once he gets it going and he starts tasting the net, it's going to be a long night for the opposition. This man can go off for 40 or even like we've seen before, 50. So, Anthony Davis is one of the GOATs in the big man position, and he's going to prove a lot of doubters wrong this season. It's all about his health, though. That's all we're concerned about. As Laker fans, we just want this man to stay healthy for a full season or as close to that as possible, right? If he has some minor setbacks, I just hope that they're minor, like maybe a day, 2, but nothing major. I don't want him out past a week or 2 because then it takes him out of rhythm and he has to get back into the flow of things. Even when he came back from his injury this season, he never really got his rhythm back. That's why he didn't look the same. But I think all this time off is really going to benefit AD and LeBron. I think you'll get them at full force. Plus, adding Russell Westbrook takes a huge amount of pressure off of those guys. So now, they can pick and choose and take turns when they want to destroy the opposition, and they don't have to force anything. Appreciate you, Miggy. Thank you so much, bro. He said, Ennis looks okay. Surprised he hasn't been signed. A lot of players haven't been signed, but I think these guys are the reason they haven't been signed is partially because they're looking for the best opportunity as presented to them. So I think that those are the main reasons that you see a lot of these guys. Somebody said, "Oh, Ennis is a bum. Why do you think he hasn't been signed?" I'm like, chill out. There's still other players that are pretty damn good, like Markkanen, other players that actually have potential that haven't been signed either, right? So it's not about who was the last one picked off the board. It's more about maybe these free agents are, analyzing every roster and every opportunity to try to make sure that they can get the best return as far as minutes and opportunity goes for them. He says, a surprise, Millsap and Boogie haven't been signed. Again, they're probably looking for the same thing, opportunity, man. And when opportunity meets, anything can happen. Once opportunity, meets demand. He said, I'll take a couple more questions before I get off. I actually have to go run a chore right now. I wasn't sure if I was going to do this video or not. If the Clippers won, I'll be honest with you. I was not going to show up for a Clipper win preseason game. And, that would have kind of killed my mood a little bit. But if it was regular season, of course, I'm always here pre-post. But I'm picking and choosing now in Summer League because, like, the other night we lost to the Knicks and the ending wasn't very nice. So I was just like, I'll pass. He said, what do you see or who do you see leading the Lakers in shooting percentage this year? And do you think AD will shoot above 60% with Westbrook feeding him? Can I be quite frank with you? I think anybody who plays that shooting guard position with Westbrook, LeBron, and AD is going to get a ton of opportunities. So it could be Wayne Ellington, Malik Monk. I wouldn't even be shocked if it was Kendrick Nunn. I doubt it, but you just never know with Frank Vogel. So whoever starts there at the shooting guard position most likely will have the best shooting percentage. Remember, last year when we started the season, when everybody was healthy, KCP was the beneficiary, and Caruso, who are getting the most minutes there at the back at the shooting guard position. They were benefiting from that because they were playing with AD and LeBron. Now you get Russell Westbrook, another guy who can drive and kick. So again, whoever starts at shooting guard, that's my prediction. Who's gonna probably lead us in shooting percentage? But I wouldn't be shocked if it was a veteran. If it was Wayne Ellington or Kent Bazemore, or maybe even Carmelo. You never know. Why does everyone think Westbrook can't hit threes? Last time I checked, he hasn't had a chance to be open like he will now. You know what it is, Chris? It's just the sample size, the percentage per sample size that he shot in his career. I mean, when you think of Russell Westbrook, what's the first thing that comes to mind? It's not 3-point shooter. His slasher, his dog, is guy with a high motor, right? That's how we see them. So that's the reason they don't see him as a 3-point shooter. Now, nobody's saying he can't knock down the occasional 3 or 2, or if he gets hot, he can go off from there. But he, statistically wise, he hasn't really been a high percentage 3-point shooter. So it is what it is. But we didn't bring him here strictly for 3-point shooting. Okay. So that argument doesn't really matter. People swear that's the only thing that matters. Last I checked, the last couple of finals, the Lakers did shoot better in the finals, but the last couple of finals weren't won by the better 3-point shooting teams. Because if that's the case, Phoenix Suns would have been holding the Larry O'Brien, right? And by the way, the Lakers were struggling going into the playoffs when we won in the bubble from beyond the arc. We were one of the worst 3-point shooting teams, I think. We're at the bottom league of the half or something like that, bottom half of the league. So 3-point shooting is nice. It's a great asset to have, especially when you have people getting double teamed like LeBron and AD consistently. You want to make the defense pay, but it's not the top priority, and that's why we treated it that way. But the top priority was getting consistent third option to give LeBron and AD breaks, because this is why they're getting injured all the time, because they were constantly carrying. The role players weren't holding up their part of the bargain, and this is why when the season ended, I said I wouldn't be shocked if we really just keep LeBron and AD and maybe THC or somebody else and start from scratch. And that's what the Lakers did. So, again, it could be anybody, man. Well, Russell Westbrook, we brought him here for everything else that he does besides shooting threes. If he gets hot from beyond the arc, that's a super bonus right there. A couple more questions. My boy said Malik Monk is super athletic, and starting him along with AD, Westbrook, Bron, Howard will be super exciting to watch them play. I agree. He's my favorite. You guys knew I've been raving about him since before the Lakers grabbed him. I was like, man, whoever ends up with this kid is going to really get a steal in free agency. Now, I didn't think he would come at such a bargain at the veterans minimum. What I'm really hoping is that after this deal is done, maybe with his bird rights, we can sign him for a longer term deal, like a 3-year deal or something, because he's worth keeping around. But I'm not mad if they don't start him, because if you think about it, imagine Malik Monk and Carmelo being the first ones off the bench and Kendrick Nunn. You have tons of scoring opportunities there, man. And those guys are going to be able to hold leads. But I would love Monk to start for the same reasons you mentioned. Super athletic, explosive, can get his own shot, can spot up, shot a high clip, 40% plus beyond the arc. He would fit right into the starting lineup. And again, he looked really excited when they asked him about his role. So that's something that could happen for sure. 2 more questions, guys, before I get off. I got to go run an errand. He said Monk can't defend. He will barely play. That's not true. That's not true. Monk can defend. Now, does he need to work on some things, be a little more disciplined? Yes, but he's a young player. And he has a good wingspan, too. That's definitely going to help him. That combined with his athleticism is going to help him defensively. But remember, we got Dwight Howard back this year. So how much defending is Malik Monk going to have to do? He just has to shore up the perimeter and make sure that the elite guards aren't getting wide open threes. The rest, if they get to dribble, drive, penetrate into the rim, guess what? We got Anthony Davis. We got Dwight Howard waiting back there. And LeBron James, another one who's capable of blocking shots. You're talking about an all-defensive front court once again. It's going to be a blast, man. But Malik Monk is going to be nice. Trust me. For the Lakers, he averaged 11 points last year as a third option as a shooting guard off the bench behind Devontae Graham, Teddy Rozier, and LaMelo. He might have been the fourth option there. So think about it. If he's a first or second option, it's gonna be dynamite. He might up that to like 12 or 13 points a game, and that's more than what you can ask from a veteran minimum contract, as long as he does it efficiently, and that's the key right there. But anyways, guys, thank you so much for tuning in, man. That's gonna wrap it up for me. Thanks for the donations. I appreciate it, guys, and the likes as well. I'll see you guys right here tomorrow night. We got Detroit Pistons versus the Lakers. It's gonna be fun. Number 1 pick versus our underdog Lakers, man. Let's see what type of defensive adjustments and how we adapt to that game. That game might determine whether we go to the championship game or not. So it should be a blast, man. Have a great rest of your night. Always go and beat the Clippers. And don't forget to smash the like button on your way out. Peace out, guys.